Yes, guys, Ryjack back for another video. Hope everyone is doing alright. If you are new to the channel, please hit the subscribe button, like the video, and let me know your thoughts on the Man City transfer news. We are seeing quite a bit of news is out there at the moment. City not playing every midweek anymore, so more time for news to circulate on Twitter. I'm here to go over all of what we've seen throughout this week here. It is Friday. Games come back tomorrow in the Premier League, Sunday for Man City. I'll do a live watch along right here on the channel for that. So very excited to be back doing a live again. It's been a while, but we will be back Sunday, City and Chelsea. Anyway, let's take a look at the news out there at the moment. Firstly, Marcus Bettinelli has agreed a one-year extension to his City contract. There were some nice quotes about him being a good guy, brilliant, third style goalkeeper. Is he the new Scott Carson? We're not quite there yet, but cool that we're having our third string goalie back on the team another year. And I'm imagining if he, does well and continues to be a good influence in the dressing room, this will probably continue to roll over again. Bettinelli probably not going to get any minutes anytime at Man City, but he is the third choice goalie and he's back for another year. So congratulations, Marcus. Next bit of news. City have taken concrete steps towards sporting midfielder Morten Hjemland, making informal contact with Portuguese club's management as they aim to sign the Dane immediately after the season. No negotiations are underway yet, but City are aware of demands, 40 to 50 million euros. Now, Morten Hjemland, not a name I am super familiar with. I can't lie. I cannot lie. However, he's been mentioned in the chat quite a bit of times. Hjemland, Sporting CP. Interesting, he's going to be 27 next year, primarily a defensive midfielder. Is he better than Nico Gonzalez, which we already have in that role? It's hard for me to say. I don't know. I haven't watched Sporting play. I haven't watched Hjemland play very much. He's on the ball quite a bit, as you can tell by his touches in the 97th percentile. Chance creation is decent at 72%. Aerial duels won, 67%. Not bad. Not crazy numbers, I would say. He's been at Sporting for, 3 seasons now. Got 9 goals. Decent assists from a CDM type player. 3 assists, 2 assists, 5 assists. It's not bad. 2 goals here this season, 3 the year before that, 4 the year before that. Played at Lecce in, I think that's Serie B, the Italian second league. So, again, not really a whole lot of high level experience, but maybe, potentially, this is the Nico G replacement. If Rodri decides to stay, Nico G wants to move on. Hjemland, maybe, he's realizing he's 27 years old, not going to displace Rodri anytime soon, but he'd be happy to move to a big-time club in the Premier League. Valued at, according to this, $66 million, which, of course, the asking price here is 40 to 50 million euros. We'll see. I'm not too sure on this one. I don't know enough about him. However, I've heard good things from people in the chat. So the scouts online out there, let me know. If you're Portuguese, let me know. If you're Danish, let me know. Morten Hjemland is a new name, but not one that I would primarily think is really on the cards right now, at least. I mean, not very positive comments, I would say, on the tweet. People are saying it's an Arsenal tattoo as well, according to this picture. So I don't know. Hjemland's a new name for me, or at least seeing us visually linked, not a new name. I've heard of him before, but again, not seen him play. So I'm not sure on that one. More interesting, City have joined the race with the Bundesliga and Premier League clubs for German gem Kenneth Eichhorn. Now, I'm not going to sit here and say I've heard of this guy either. He is 16 years old, playing in Bundesliga 2. To be playing in Bundesliga 2 at 16, I mean, that is something for sure. People are calling him the next Tony Cruz. That is the name I've heard when I asked about people who potentially known this guy. A new name for me. I am not familiar with Bundesliga 2, young, under 18 Germans, not my forte. But you love seeing a link with a wonder kid. And if, Bayern Munich want to buy him, Liverpool, United, Chelsea, all the big boys in the Prem, then of course City are probably going to be looking there. They're saying calm, composed, already dominating at 16. He's the next big thing from Germany. Midfielder, of course. So I don't know. I mean, is he going to be ready to contribute anytime soon? I feel like no. I mean, he's 16 years old. I also read he wouldn't even be able to move until he's 18, which would be summer of 2027. So again, it's not really a move that's going to impact much currently. He's a DM according to this. I don't know that I would say he's dominating the Bundesliga 2, considering he's played 860 minutes, 10 starts, no goals, no assists. I mean, some decent performances out there, an 8.5, 8.2, 7.4. So, I don't know. It's hard to project what you're getting with a 16-year-old. You know, you see that you're linked with a young wonder kid and you hope he becomes a Ballon d'Or winner. That's what everybody wants. You know, football manager syndrome is out there, and that's great. I want City to sign the best up-and-coming young players, but is he going to contribute to the first team anytime soon? No, probably not. So that name is out there and cool enough. I'm happy to see that, but not really relevant, at least currently. And then the last story of the day, James Trafford. What's going on with him? Again, we've seen quite a bit of positive performances from Trafford, but unfortunately, there is no path to competing for minutes at the moment with Donnarumma on the roster at the club. I just don't see Trafford's role changing, even if me personally, I would be starting Trafford. I think I've made that known on a couple of streams. I am leaning in the camp of I think we play better with Trafford's in net, and I think it makes sense to move forward with Trafford over Donnarumma, considering rumors that Donnarumma wants to go to Italy. You know, if Donnarumma is here for another year or two and then we're back in the same position needing another goalie, would it not make sense just to go with Trafford now or next season and let Donnarumma go after 1 year at City? I don't know. Donnarumma's a good keeper. I'm not sitting here saying I think he's crap. I don't mean to come off as pinning them against each other, but presently I would play James Trafford. I think he's in better form. Looks likely to leave this summer. This report says City are looking for 35 to 40 million pounds for him, which is quite expensive for a keeper, especially a backup keeper who's not really played a whole lot in the Prem. You know, you're really buying potential. You can see he's going to be maybe England's number one, so you know the price makes sense to me. I don't think you're going to get any more than 40. I know some people have said we should be getting 50, upwards of 55. I think that's a little bit crazy. I just don't think anybody's out there is going to spend that money on James Trafford given his lack of experience, even if the potential is high. And while I'm not excited to see him go, it's nice profit in terms of what we can do for the spreadsheets at City. It's going to help us buy important players for the next couple of years. I still, though, would be moving on Donnarumma and roll with James Trafford. I just think what Trafford offers is better than what Donnarumma offers, unfortunately. And it's kind of hard to explain everything, really. So I decided to make a graph and go over two of the most outstanding issues I have with Donnarumma versus the Trafford debate. So I have it pulled up here on Paint. Nicely done, of course. If you look at the x-axis on this graph, saves. How good are you out of 10? I think it's fair to say Donnarumma is 9 or 10. He's very, very good saving the ball. But on the y-axis, this should be the y-axis, I guess, ball playing ability. How are you out of 10? Donnarumma. I feel like he is definitely below average. Is he the worst ball-playing center back or goalie in the world? No, he's not a 0 out of 10. But he's definitely not very good. So I'm thinking maybe like a 4, something like that. He's maybe, we'll say, right in this area. And that is Gigi Donnarumma. Right here on this graph. There's other aspects of being a goalie, of course, but just visually, if we're looking at it, it's because I know there's a lot of Donnarumma lovers out there, and they want to say, how could you ever drop Donnarumma? I'm going to visualize it here for you. Now let's talk about James Trafford. Where is he out of 10 as a saves, a guy? He's made no goalkeeping, shot-stopping errors as far as I can remember this year. Is he as good as Donnarumma? Probably not quite as good. But I don't think the gap is significantly different there, in my opinion. So let's say Trafford is maybe an 8 out of 10 shot stopper, maybe a 7 out of 10, 7.5 out of 10 shot stopper. I think that's fair to say. He's actually taller than Donnarumma, but Donnarumma has such a wide frame that he can really get to areas of the goal that maybe no one else other than maybe Courtois can get to, given how massive Courtois is as well. You think about the save against Liverpool, the McAllister shot. Donnarumma is at full stretch, and it just looks beautiful. I don't think Trafford is getting to that save, but is he bad at shot stopping? No, he had a triple save in the Arsenal game that was fantastic. I think he makes great saves when he's playing. So let's say conservatively, between 7 and 8, 7.5. How is he as a ball-playing goalie? He's not Ederson. He's not a 10 out of 10 ball-playing center back. He's not Ederson, okay? He's not. I'm with you on that. But he's definitely better than Gigi Donnarumma, unfortunately. He just is. I think you're looking at like a 7.5, 8 ball-playing type goalie, potentially something like that. If that's fair to you, I think that roughly puts Trafford here in this area of the graph. So ask yourself, which goalie do you want based on this graph? Is the difference from here, is that difference enough to play Donnarumma? Based on you getting a little bit better shot stopping, but significantly worse ball playing. I feel like the difference equates to Trafford is the better all-around keeper and more important to have at the club. And these are only two metrics here. The two metrics, shot stopping, ball playing. There's also set pieces, which if you threw that on this graph as well, Trafford would also massively supersede Donnarumma. He's a much better set piece goalkeeper. He just is. If you look at sweeping, I think Trafford is much better of a sweeper keeper than Donnarumma is. But visually, these are the two things that stand out to me, and it's the best way I can illustrate it to show my opinion. I think at the end of the day, this bar here basically being worst goalie to the best goalie, most complete goalie, you go with James Trafford in this case, this scenario specifically. So that's my take on the James Trafford situation at the moment. Not sure it really makes a difference because it looks likely that he's out the door this summer, going to another Premier League club, whether it's Spurs or Villa or Chelsea maybe. Who knows? We'll see. But I think City potentially will live to regret the James Trafford sale, in my opinion. Hopefully I'm wrong. Hopefully Donnarumma just becomes world-class again and picks up the ball-playing ability and continues to be world-class in shot-stopping, but who knows? Who knows? Anyway, that is it for the transfer update, the James Trafford, Donnarumma debate. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. I'll respond to all of them as I always do. Like the video, subscribe if you're new. Appreciate you guys, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace!